Well, hello, and welcome back once again to Rob's Arcade, or what I should say is barely left of it. Let's take a look around. Oh my Lord. Guys, it's all done. It's amazing to me. Here we are. We are wrapping up Rob's Arcade Season 3 here in Richmond, Virginia, but we will be picking back up in Florida for Season 4. And I want to thank you guys for hanging out, bearing with me. I know it's been a little bit crazy, and it's amusing to me how many of my friends actually want to get together and do some YouTube. So I don't know, there might be some last minute videos popping in here. I can't really hang out in here too long. We got to pull all this down. The painters are coming in. They're going to just whitewash all of this here, clear it all out. But doesn't really matter. We're going to go ahead and hop out of here, grab some comic books, hang out, have a good time. It's time for the Rob's midweek breakdown. Once again, who knows? We'll probably hit Home Depot, grab some mulch. I'm sure my wife has a whole honey-do list of things we got to do. We basically have, like, I keep saying 3 weeks. It's less. It's got to be less than 3 weeks at this point. It has to be. It had like maybe 2.5. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to waste your time, guys. We've got the apartment. The wife's got the job. We got the truck locked down. It's time to rock and roll, baby. Now, this is a little bit sad because we are coming up on the last approach to my local comic shop, guys. Like, I've got maybe 2 more times after today. Not really sure what's going to happen. Pretty crazy. Anyway, hang out. We're going to hit the comic shop. When I come back, let you know what I think of today's Loki episode. Not going to give away any spoilers, but we'll talk about a little bit of Loki. And yeah, be back in a bit. Later, guys. Oh, this is very cool. I like this a lot. Oh, hey guys, welcome back to the midweek breakdown. This is still Rob's Arcade. I'm still your host, Rob French. And today has been actually a very, very, very cool Rob's midweek breakdown. We actually, even though we should kind of call this like not Rob's Arcade, maybe now it's just Rob's Closet. We didn't have the painters come in today, so actually we were kind of saved by that just a little bit. But aside from that, it was actually a really cool midweek breakdown today. My wife joined me today for not only grabbing some comic books, but for some lunch. And yes, we did even hit Home Depot to pick up some moving supplies. But all in all, I just feel like this is a really cool, really fun midweek breakdown. All in all, and I'm ready to share with you guys everything that went down with us. But before I do, I guess let's go ahead and talk about this week's episode of Loki. Now, my wife really liked this episode this week, and I don't feel like there's ever a bad episode from anything that comes from the Disney Plus Marvel streaming services, whether it's like the Falcon Winter Soldier or even WandaVision. But I do feel like this episode was a little bit slow, only if for the fact that it's kind of building towards something a little bit bigger than any of us really expected. I feel like a lot of things that happened in episode 2, which if you haven't seen this already, spoiler alert, stop now, blah, 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 blah. I mean, there are so many time branches set off at the very last minute of episode 2 that that's not what I was like expecting that much later, I guess, in the series. But there we have it all happening in the very final moments of episode 2. And so I feel like there's a lot of exposition and then some relationship that needs to be built between Randy and, of course, Loki. So even though this episode maybe is just a little bit slow, it definitely delivers some very crucial moments, especially in the very last few moments of the episode. My wife really liked it, but I kind of feel like I will enjoy this episode as more as a full piece between the rest. Like I kind of feel like some of these series you can kind of break down almost like cinematic movies in a sense. So if you take a few episodes of like WandaVision or Falcon Winter Soldier, they work cinematically. I know that was very true with like especially the second season of Mandalorian. I felt like some of the independent episodes didn't work so well alone, but when you butted them against or in between other episodes, they were really, really crucial and important. So I feel like this will be one of those episodes where later on I will really appreciate it. But for right now, I just kind of feel like it was a really slow, really dull episode. And you didn't give me much of a reason to get up early, guys. I get up early when these new episodes come out. I get up early, get my coffee, get ready to go. But whatever. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy it. And I think episode 4, 5, and 6 will just be like spinning everybody out of the freaking wheelhouse. All right, so as I mentioned, my wife actually joined me today for the midweek breakdown, which is a little bit new. We've been kind of busy. She's been busy. We've been everywhere, kind of doing this, that, there. I thought today, like I said, the painters were coming by. They didn't. So all the plans have been kind of flipped upside down, a little wiki wonky, what have you. But she actually joined me today. We hit the comic shop again today together, and it's a little bittersweet. Like this will be probably the third to the last time. I probably have 2 more visits to Richmond Comics here in my hometown before we just hit the road. And so I was really happy my wife actually kind of hung out with me today. Like I said, we hit Home Depot afterwards. And then we also grabbed a little bit of Red Robin. Now, before we jump into the comic book portion, let's go ahead and take a look at what we had for lunch today. Now, my wife got something that was like the whiskey burger. It's like a tongue twister. I don't know. It's almost impossible to say. But I went with the Impossible Burger only because our friends Princess and the Bear, Jermaine, and our good friend Nastasia, Miss Natty. I love her so much. You guys do an amazing job on YouTube. If you guys do not know the Princess and the Bear, please look them up. They do amazing Disney videos, and they're always comparing these vegan versus non-vegan meals. And so I've decided, hey, I'm going to go with the Impossible Burger. So let's go ahead and take a look at our lunch today, as well as my wife's like Red Skull cocktail, what have you. I don't know. Everything was really good. Red Robin never really disappoints. And there you go. That's what we had for lunch. I had the Impossible Burger, and my wife had the Impossible to Say Whiskey River Barbecue Burger, a couple of salads, and of course the Screaming Red Zombie cocktail, which I didn't have any, but it smelled absolutely delicious. Anyway, we had a really great lunch, and before I jump into the comics I picked up this week, let's go ahead and talk about how many comic books I read this past week, which we hit at exactly 14 again. It seems I can't break that 14 barrier. That seems to be. Oh wait, no. I did the week of the 19th back there in May. I definitely broke that guy apart. But 14 seems to be about the roundabout number. In this past week, one of my favorite reads was Berserker number 3. Again, brought to you by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kind. Some really gnarly artwork by Ron Gardner here and Bill Crabtree. Now, I'm picking this issue out of everything else I read this past month, even though I read some really cool stuff. Nightwing was really amazing this past month. Just really great issues, just I think all around. Just a really fun month for comics. But this seems to be taking a lot of shape as far as not only storytelling, but character development as well. I feel like the first couple of issues was just like this, like kind of like bizarre berserker nonstop action, but we're starting to get a little bit more background, a little bit more detail into this character. So for this past week, Berserker number 3 was definitely, I think, my favorite read, and I'm looking forward to reading it again. So let's go ahead though and jump into what I picked up this week. Here this week on Rob's Arcade. Or Rob's Closet, because what's left of it. Rob's Closet, that's appropriate, I feel like. All right, so here we go. Not a huge Fantastic Four fan, but this right here has been, so far, a really fun series. Now, I picked up issue number 1, which kind of focused on the 60s. Issue 2 focuses on the 70s here, and what a great idea, kind of breaking down the Fantastic Four throughout the decades. Now, Fantastic Four, I've tried throughout the decades since I started collecting comic books back in like the 90s, and it's just never something that's really stuck with me. But that is definitely a series that I am digging. Coming back into Marvel, we got more Spider-Man, always digging into my pockets. Chameleon, great character, one of the very first villains I was familiar with dealing with Spider-Man, and looking forward to more from this series here. Now, we picked up DC's Pride issue. Here we have Marvel Voices, their run at Pride. We picked up a couple issues of this week, my wife and I. A couple issues for her and her friends. And then, of course, a couple for ourselves. We really like this cover right here. Really cool. Like this. It's like making his own shield. Kind of got the same little haircut going on, if you will. Huh? I can dig it. Maybe need to trim this up a little bit. What do you guys think? I don't know. Comment down below. What do you think of all this? All right. Also from Marvel, got the next Wolverine. I love this cover. This reminds me of like what a cover would have been back like in early 2000s. Like, this is a very cool 2000 cover, and I was wondering about this issue. Finally, we have from IDW the Transformers Back to the Future crossover. Always love some sci-fi. Always love Back to the Future. Always love Transformers. This is a really cool, fun series, and I'm really interested to see what happens. I think this might be the conclusion. So I think everybody who is anybody who is everybody has been talking about this Spawn's universe. Number 1. Picked up some variants here. Just really like this cool cover right here. And then we got, of course, the McFarlane cover. And then tell me if this guy right here isn't beautiful, by Campbell. Oh, such a great artist. Any of those who don't know, well, now you do. Look up Campbell, what he's done. I love this background right here. It's just so cool. such a great cover. Really cool cover. Really looking forward to seeing what this is all about. And this is, let's go ahead and pull this. Oh man, that's a heavy issue right there. That's a really, really heavy issue. Let's jump into some DC comics, shall we? Now, just finished reading actually 1037 just the other day, yesterday maybe. Really cool. I'm loving, absolutely loving Bogdanovic's artwork. So good. I almost feel like at times I feel like I'm reading comics drawn by Greg Capello again, and I don't want to compare anybody's artwork to anyone else's, but I just feel like certain artists know how to capture the true essence of Batman. Greg was one, and this guy right here is another. Every issue I read, it just feels so realistic. The eyes, the teeth, the cheeks, the fingers. Oh, great attention to anatomy. And need I say less? What a beautiful cover. Robin number 3. Two great characters. We got Connor Hawke, Damian Wayne. I'd love to see Damian Wayne. Maybe I'll write this. Damian Wayne and Jonathan Kent, Superboy, growing up doing the next Superman, Batman storylines. My wife really liked this issue right here. The Pride issue for Harley Quinn. I also really dig this. I've been really just feeling all of the Pride issues this entire month. Been some really great ones out there. Got the next issue of Teen Titans Academy. Another great series. Just, I love the idea of students and a place where even like, well, of course, the newer superheroes can go and train and kind of hone their skills. But where do you go if you were like an elder hero and maybe you need to rehone, or you've lost your skills, you need to reobtain your powers? Where do you go? Teen Titans Academy. Just absolutely love this issue. And as much as I hate the idea of Batman in the Fortnite world, because let's face it, Batman doesn't really use a gun. I mean, of course, for the few mistakes he had back in his very, 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 very early days. I actually have a Batman comic in the collection where he uses a gun to stop a vampire. But aside from that, I have been enjoying this crossover with the Fortnite Batman 0 Point storyline. It's actually pretty interesting. Didn't think I would actually enjoy the story, the cosmetics as well. We have issue 3 here. Got one for me and one for my boy Anthony down in Florida, where I will be, of course, very soon. Hopefully he's looking forward to this. And it's funny, like I was just telling him, like 3's hard to get a hold of, and I picked up a couple here, so very cool. And I'm not one of those that's going to be like, oh, I got to get 4 or 5. I just need one for me, one for him. We'll both be happy. And that was my haul. My wife picked up some cool stuff for herself and for her friends, but I will leave that up to her to share. Pardon me, too much coffee there. As I head out, I will share this with you. Picked up a Todd McFarlane Toys Flash figure. Now this is from the Injustice 2, which is the video game, which I've never played, which is ironic because I love DC characters like Batman and the Flash, and I love playing fighting games like Mortal Kombat. So maybe I should check this game out. But I picked up this figure. Now this is going to be a little bit of a tribute that I'm going to leave in the restaurant as I head out. Don't care what you have to say there, Andrew. This is going to be really cool. I know my boy Nick will help take care of this and keep this polished. It's funny, I know we're supposed to be packing stuff up and we're not supposed to be buying anything, but this is not for me. But also look forward to me unpacking this guy, because even though I'm not going to keep him, I am looking forward to actually playing with the Flash a little bit. Kinky. So anyway, guys, Thank you so much for hanging out in what very may well be what could be only one or two of the last midweek breakdowns. I only have two more visits to Richmond Comics here in town. Don't know how many of those I'll actually get to document before I head out. So hopefully you guys will really enjoy this episode. And like I said, please look forward to me unboxing this guy in another episode. Hit the like button. Please comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And until next time, don't spend your quarter anywhere else. And remember, this isn't goodbye, just to be continued. Till next time.